Hi Gandhi class, it was so wonderful seeing you on our live session this morning, and thank you so much for all of your feedback about English this week. I'm really happy to hear that a lot of you are really enjoying the lessons, so keep up the good work and well done. So our learning objective for our fourth English lesson this week is, can I use pronouns to avoid repetition? Now, before we begin the lesson, please can you make sure that you have a whiteboard and a whiteboard pen ready, or a piece of paper and a pencil. So if you need to go and get that now, pause the video to do so. Okay, so I want you to have a think. What is a noun? Pause the video to have a think or discuss with somebody nearby who is free what a noun is. Well done if you said that it is a person, place, or a thing. But what is a pronoun? Now, this is a word you might not have come across before. So this lesson is going to be all about what a pronoun is. A pronoun is a word that is used to replace a noun. Examples of pronouns are he, she, it, and they. We use pronouns in order to avoid repeating the same nouns. So for example, rather than repeat the noun the car in the sentence, we would use a pronoun. So here is the sentence if we don't use a pronoun. We took the car to the garage because the car needed fixing. So we're saying the car too much. Whereas if we replace the car that's written in bold with a pronoun, then it sounds a lot better. So instead we could have, we took the car to the garage because it needed fixing. So using pronouns is all about avoiding repeating the noun over and over again. We use personal pronouns to refer to a particular person or thing. There are 12 personal pronouns that we use for people. These are I, you, he, she, it, we, they, me, him, her, us, and them. And those are for people. Then we've got 3 personal pronouns for things: they, them, and it. So we're going to have a go at using pronouns. This is where you're going to need your whiteboard and your whiteboard pen, or your piece of paper and a pencil. So here is our original sentence. This is not using any pronouns. It says, Tom went upstairs to the bedroom. Tom opened the door and Tom sat on the bed. So on your mini whiteboard, I want you to have a go at replacing some of the nouns with a pronoun. Now, it's important that this first one here does start with Tom, so we know that who we're speaking about, but the other ones don't necessarily need to say Tom. So on your mini whiteboard, I want you to have a go at changing some of the nouns for pronouns. Pause the video. Okay, so our nouns in this sentence is Tom, Tom, and Tom. We've said Tom way too many times, so we need to change these 2 Toms for pronouns. And the pronoun that we could have had is he. So Tom went upstairs to the bedroom, he opened the door, and he sat on the bed. So that's changing some of our nouns into pronouns to make the sentence sound a lot better and avoid repeating his name over and over again. Well done if you wrote this. Let's do another one. So Alina wrote in Alina's book. When Alina was finished, Alina put Alina's book away. Now we've said Alina a lot in that sentence, which means we need to change some of these nouns for pronouns. We'll leave the first one because that's telling us who we're talking about, but the other ones need to be changed. So on your mini whiteboard, I want you to have a go at changing some of these nouns into pronouns to avoid repetition. You need to write the whole sentence out again and change nouns to pronouns. Pause the video to have a go. Okay, so as I said, we leave the first Alina so we know who we're talking about. Alina's book could change. Oh, sorry, Alina there. This one could change, this one could change, and this one could change. So you could have written something like, Alina wrote in her book, when she was finished, she put her book away. So you can see how we've changed these 4 nouns into pronouns that make sense in the sentence. So instead of saying, Alina wrote in Alina's book, when Alina was finished, Alina put Alina's book away. That sounds a bit of a tongue twister there. We would write, Alina wrote in her book, when she was finished, she put her book away. And that just makes the sentence sound a lot better as well, a lot easier to say. Okay, the last one. So, Ariana and Hafila love to paint. Flowers are Ariana and Hafila's favourite thing to paint because Ariana and Hafila think flowers are beautiful. Again, a very long sentence because we're using nouns. So we'd leave the first 2 so we know who we're talking about, and then the other ones could be changed. So what I want you to do on your mini whiteboard is have a go at changing the nouns in this sentence to pronouns. Pause the video to have a go. Okay, so we could change this bit here and this bit here. So instead of saying Ariana and Hafila all over again, we are going to put them together and make it plural. So we're talking about the both of them. So what we could write is Ariana and Hafila love to paint. So we've kept that bit the same so we know who we're talking about. Flowers are their favourite thing to paint because they think flowers are beautiful. So instead of saying Ariana and Hafila again and again and again, we're going to put them together, make it plural, and talk about them as a pair, their favourite thing to paint, they think. So hopefully you would have got something similar to that. We wouldn't write flowers are her and her favourite thing to paint because that doesn't make any sense. But you can't have her because her would refer to one person, whereas their refers to 2 or more people. So if you had 3 names instead, then their would still relate to those 3 people. Okay, so now you've got some activities to complete. Please, please, please make sure you are choosing the activity that is appropriate to you. So activity number 1, you need to underline all of the pronouns in the sentences below. So number 1, Ritesh cycled to school and on the way he saw a fox. Remember, you're underlining the pronouns. So you're not going to be underlining Ritesh because Ritesh is the noun. You're underlining the pronoun. Number 2, the laptop needed to go back to the shop because it was broken. Number 3, the family went to France because they wanted to visit some friends. Number 4, Miss Lewis gave us the answers for the reading comprehension. And number 5, Luca walked into his classroom and hung his bag on his peg. So you need to underline the pronouns in these sentences. It would be good if you could rewrite the sentences out and underline them. So please try to do that. Activity number 2. Now you need to rewrite the sentences below and use pronouns to avoid repetition. So this is similar to what we were doing just before. So number 1, the Nintendo Switch had to be returned to the shop because the Nintendo Switch was broken. So you need to find the noun and replace it with a pronoun. And remember to rewrite the sentence out. Number 2, Mahmood had said that Mahmood loves learning about the Victorians because Mahmood finds them very interesting. Again, find the nouns and change them for pronouns, but leave the first noun so we know who we're talking about or what we're talking about. Number 3, the car had to go to the garage because the car had a flat tire. Number 4, Rebecca put on Rebecca's bag on Rebecca's peg and walked into Rebecca's classroom. And number 5, Maisha walked to school and on Maisha's way, Maisha saw an adorable rabbit. So that's activity number 2. Again, you need to rewrite the sentences out and change the nouns into pronouns to avoid repetition. And last but not least, activity number 3. And what I want you to do here is rewrite the paragraph below using pronouns to avoid repetition. So the paragraph is, as Antje walked to school, Antje saw an adorable rabbit. Antje wanted to pet the rabbit, so Antje knelt down beside the rabbit and touched the rabbit's soft, silky fur. Shocked, Antje couldn't believe just how soft the rabbit's fur was. Antje couldn't wait to get to school to tell Antje's friends all about the rabbit. So you need to go through there, change the nouns into pronouns. So have a think about what the noun is and what its pronoun could be. And remember, you need to leave at least one so we know what we are talking about, because it wouldn't make sense if you wrote, as she walked to school, she saw an adorable it. It wouldn't make sense. So you need to make sure that you have the noun in there somewhere so we know what we're talking about. And as an extension, you can add some more sentences to this paragraph, ensuring that you use pronouns to avoid repetition. Please make sure you upload your work to Tapestry Gandhi class, and I will see you next time. Bye.